This is Lisa Brown, and this is Side Hustle Saturday Hustle Talks. But guess what? This is the premiere of Side Hustle Saturday Hustle Talks. And we have a very special guest today. I wonder who it could be. It's me. Yeah, it's me. It's Lisa Brown, the CEO of Studio 951, and the podcast host of Side Hustle Saturday Hustle Talks. So, I wanted to get on here and tell you about where I've been since I started Side Hustle Saturday, which was back in 2020. Can you believe it? It's been almost 5 years, and where I am today. So here's a little bit about me and about the evolution of Lisa Brown, the entrepreneur, the podcast host, and the digital marketing CEO. Let's get into it. So let's talk about the digital marketing journey. So when I started my agency, Studio 951, it was during a time where my mother was ill. She was my only surviving parent at the time, and I wanted to be able to spend her final days, with my mother. I wanted to be able to appreciate the time that I had with her without any type of outside interruptions or stress. So at the time I was working in corporate America. I had a pretty good job, and I decided to quit my job. Was I tore up about it? No. I was not tore up about it. It was a decision that I had to make for myself. But, when I quit my job, I had to figure out, what am I going to do to make some income while I'm taking care of my mother? Hence the birth of Studio 951. My corporate years, I have 20 years in the corporate space. I did digital marketing. I did everything from email marketing, paid search, social media, you name it. I did it in the digital space. So I took my learnings and I developed that into a business. One of my first clients was Classic for Columbus, and we'll get into that later. As far as podcasting goes, it's a funny story how I got into the podcasting space. I had a friend, and we was just shooting off the dome, just talking. And I said, it was during COVID, and I was bored and I wanted something to do. So she said, you should, interview one of my friends. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? So what happened was, she's like, one of my friends, she has her own wine company. I said, that's really interesting. I would really like to talk to her. So here's the funny thing. Not only did I interview her, but it was the first time I've been on Instagram. I did an Instagram live. I've been in front of the camera and I interviewed somebody. The 4 things that I've never done before, I just jumped into it and I did it. It was called Corks and Conversations, and I had maybe 7 people join. To me, I was like, ooh, that's a lot of people. But it was 7 people. But it was 7 people that were engaged and that were asking questions. And after the interview, I was like, I like that. It felt natural and good to me. And so since then was the birth of Side Hustle Saturday. I've always been engaged and loved the stories that entrepreneurs had. I've always just gravitated towards that. So I wanted to create an environment and a community where people who ever had a side hustle, or who had took their side hustle and took it into their main hustle, talk about that journey. Not that I'm an entrepreneur and it's all glamorous, but they talked about what it really means and what it takes and what they had to do, child, to go through it. And I wanted to create that environment. And so that's what I did. I created Side Hustle Saturday from that Quirks and Conversations. So since 2020 to now, my perspective on being an entrepreneur I mean, when I started it, I was dabbling, doing a side hustle, selling stuff on eBay. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody's eBay game. Please don't come at me. What, it wasn't like full-fledged to me. And this is just for me. It wasn't full-fledged being an entrepreneur. But today, my perspective on being an entrepreneur, it is totally different. I really appreciate someone that I meet or I talk to. I can relate when they say, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, high five to you, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to wear the 20,000 different hats you have to wear to run a business. I know what it's like when the money is low and you got to figure out, okay, what can I do to drum up more business? I know the ebbs and flows of entrepreneurship. And it's my perspective, it's an appreciation, and it's also a joy. Even though the work is hard, for me, the reward is sweet. I get up every day and I appreciate the fact that this is something I built. This is something I did. Ain't nobody pushing me but me. I have my circle around me that help me make me a better me and help me hustle and grind. And they give me that perspective. And I want to do more because of my group and my tight-knit circle. But I just appreciate the grind and the grit that I put forth to take me on my entrepreneurial journey today. So as far as growth for Studio 951, and the result of that and the podcast, I would say the growth was the people I've met. The people I've met, the networking I've done, that was the growth for me. It was giving me a perspective of how to really relate to somebody on multiple levels. I meet all kinds of different people. And the one thing about being an entrepreneur, you cannot be on the sidelines, with your head in the sand. It ain't going to work like that. You got to get out there. When I say hustle, that means get out there. You got to talk to people and hustle, not selling them a product or just selling them on your idea or your services, but really engaging in relationships with people. And that podcast for Side Hustle Saturday that I did, that allowed me to grow when it came to talking to people. Before, when I was in corporate America, I would go to events. I was talking to the people I worked with. But now I can walk into the room and I can talk to anybody. Anybody. I could bump my gums. I could put my pinky finger up and put my glass back and talk to the best of them. And that podcast helped me come out of my shell and be more of an outgoing person, more of an extrovert instead of the introvert that I was. Okay, so I would say the challenges that I've learned is from balancing being a CEO of Studio 951 to running a podcast is managing my time. My time management sucks. I'm going to even take it back a little bit further. When I even became an entrepreneur, I found out so much about myself. And one of the things that I found out is that I did not know how to manage Lisa. When I was working in corporate America, I'm punching somebody else's clock. So they're telling you what to do, how to move, how to do it, what schedule you need to be on. And you just follow that repetition, right? But now, since then, and when I stopped working for somebody, I learned that, dang, I'm responsible for me. I got to get up at 5 o'clock. I got to work till 1 a.m. to get this project done. I'm the captain of my own ship. Can't nobody, ain't nobody gonna write me up. Ain't nobody gonna, put me on probation or walk me out the door because I didn't get it done, because guess what? That person is me. So I had to really learn how to prioritize my time, juggle, and also take some time for me, because I tell you, when they say you can burn out real quick, you do. You do burn out quick, but you got to be able to kind of step back and take some time for yourself. Yes, your hours are flexible, and sometimes you have to be kind of like stringent on those hours, and you have to allow yourself some grace. You might get up in the morning, work a little bit, take those lunch breaks, take those 15-minute breaks as if you were working for somebody. But learn how to time manage. Okay, so big goals, big dreams. I always say that. My goals for the podcast is I want to be syndicated. I want to be everywhere. I want people to be able to tap into me and engage and learn and grow from the people that I have on Side Hustle Saturday, from the tips that I give, from the motivations that I give. I want to have Side Hustle Saturday be one day maybe on a Netflix or on a cable station. Those are the dreams that I have for Side Hustle Saturday. And then further down the line, maybe to have a studio for creatives to make their own podcasts or do their own films or shoot commercials, people of color to come together in that type of community. So those are my goals for Side Hustle Saturday. For Studio 951, I would love to have that grow to be more of a global company. I would love to have Studio 951 be that digital company that is working with the bigger networks or working in an award show or having a major sports client or having a major sponsor that we work for and we do digital marketing for. So those are my dreams and goals for both of my businesses. Would I like to step away from one and do the other? Probably, and I'm thinking about it. I really love the Side Hustle Saturday podcast space, and I can kind of see myself leaning more towards that and having somebody else maybe take the helm and run Studio 951 and me kind of pursuing other things. So, you know, I if you're thinking about taking your side hustle and making it your main hustle, or even thinking about dipping your toe into the entrepreneurial landscape, the one piece of advice I have is do it. I don't care where you're at, where your planning is, how you're going to do it. Just do it. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, and I can attest to that. We can be our own worst enemy when we come up with excuse after excuse after excuse as to the why we shouldn't do it. But my question to you is, why not? Why not do it? Why not start it? Because you never know until you try. So my advice would be to, if you have an idea, write out a plan. It might not be a fully vetted plan, but I always say jump and build on your way up. Do it. Just write it out. And in business, people will tell you your plans are going to always change. Your paper ain't going to stay the same. You ain't the same when you were younger as you are now. So your plans are always going to change. So start today. Start your business. Do what you need to do. If you don't have any money, you can still start a business. I'm gonna do a podcast on that. So I would say just do it. I'm not trying to be like Nike, but put your feet down and take that step, one foot in front of the other, and start that business. for my journey would be tenacity. I think you have to be super, super tenacious to even take the chance or the road that I did. I mean, I made some mistakes. And I learned from that. But you know what? I wouldn't be where I am today if I took it safe. That's my character. I will leap with my eyes closed, and where I land, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it do, and I'm going to make it shake. That's just me. So I would say tenacious and tenacity is my word for my journey. Now listen, if you want to connect with me, here are the ways you can connect with me. You can follow me on Instagram at sidehustle_Saturday. You can also follow me on Facebook at sidehustle_Saturday. You can follow me on YouTube, and you can follow me on LinkedIn, and you can follow me on TikTok. If you want to get in contact with me, email me to be a guest on my show, to be a sponsor. I'm looking for y'all sponsors. Where y'all at? To be a sponsor or to be a guest on my show. So if you want to be on the show or you want to sponsor one of the episodes of the podcast, you can contact me and email me at contact@sidehustlesaturday.co. Listen, I always end my podcast with, I will talk to you soon. But listen, I will talk to you soon. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show out. And I hope that you ride with me during my entrepreneurial journey and the growth and the rebirth of Side Hustle Saturday. And guess what? I'll talk to you soon.